Listeners of the Go Track, welcome back and Happy New Year to you all. I hope you had a great holiday. Just quick apologies. We really dropped the ball when it came to putting out content in December on the podcast, that is. For a variety of reasons, we could not get a couple of episodes that we recorded out. And this is the first one of those episodes. So, guys, this is what we are now actually going to be dubbing the monster hits of each year. So this is when JDV and I sit down and we talk about our favorite holes that we played during that year, and we actually compile an 18-hole golf course using the actual hole numbers. So it's quite a lot of fun. We were going to actually re-record this whole episode, but we managed to scrape the bottom of the barrel for the front nine to put it out. And actually, to be honest with you, it's pretty good value, guys, because JDV was about 3 bottles of wine deep when we recorded this episode. So there are some nuggets in here. So this is the front nine of our 18-hole compilation for 2025. And we hope you guys enjoy it. Over to the podcast now.
Because I do 1,300 crunches and sit-ups 4 times a week.
What's a dose? Can you translate for us?
Winner of the gold medal and the champion golfer of the year is Ernie Els.
Welcome back to the Go Track, everybody, the podcast about golf and golf-adjacent stuff, mostly from Africa. Joined for the last time, I'm pretty sure, in 2025 by my guy, JDV. Merry Christmas, JDV. How are you?
Merry Christmas, T. I'm very well. Hoping this isn't going to be like an Amdoni podcast, because I have had numerous bottles of wine. I also have played 18 holes of golf today. So yeah, let's see how it goes. I've got my last bottle here. Let's see how it goes. I'll keep it between the mustard and the mayo.
I very much doubt you will, but thanks for thanks for committing to that. I'm very excited to hear how this progresses. JDV, we recorded this podcast last year. This is a podcast about essentially a compilation of our favorite 18 holes that we played during the course of the year. We tend to have a strong focus here at the Go Track on golf courses, and particularly JDV and I, stronger than others. And we thought we would go around and do this again. JDV, last year we each picked 18 of our own holes and kind of vetted them against each other. That turned out to be quite a lengthy procedure. So we've adjusted the rules slightly this year, and we've sort of gone odds and evens. So I've given you the odd holes, and I'm going to take the even holes, and we're going to put together our Goat Track 18-hole compilation cassette tape. But before we do that, JDV, run us through sort of your stats this year, sort of how many rounds you've played, how many golf courses you've played, and how many new golf courses you've played.
So T, that is a good question. I've played, my handicap thing says I've played 16, but I've actually played 17 if I've counted correctly, or even 19 if you want to take
rounds.
some.
I mean, courses, everyone knows your rounds is north of 50.
So I've already absolutely smoked my rounds from last year. I'm on 64. So yeah, my playlist golf goal is done and dusted. Okay, so courses I've played this year. Here we go. I'm just gonna rattle them off.
You're gonna rattle all of them. Okay, let's go. Yeah.
Cotswold many times, played that a lot of times. Durban Country Club, Selborne. Yes, as I see, I'm just looking at my page now. My brother's just drawn a big penis on the page as on his way out as his signature. Cotswold, DCC, Selborne, Amdoni, Victoria, Gowrie, Boschhoek, Zimablai Lakes, Kloof, Knysna, Steenberg, Clovelly, Arabella, Umkomaas, Cathedral Peak, Centurion, and Rossmond. New golf courses. Rossmond, I'll talk about that a little bit. Centurion, Zimablai Lakes, I think.
Bali
I'll
Lakes.
call that a new one. And
It's
Steenberg. So I've played
100% a new
four,
one.
Four new golf courses.
Okay, and you almost played every golf course in KZN this year by the sounds of it.
I haven't.
That's
I
it.
don't know why Champagne Sports isn't here. I feel like I have played Champagne Sports this year, but it's not here.
Or maybe I'll ask you at the end of the podcast after that bottle of wine. Maybe you would have.
I think I remember
Maybe
it.
the memory will come back.
Yeah. Ghost of Christmas Pass.
Listen,
Past.
out of interest, I played with somebody a couple of weeks ago. I meant to tell you actually, and he has played at that stage when I played with him. He had played 192 rounds this year.
Yes.
So
Wait, did you play with Ken, my stepdad?
it was not Ken.
He won the turkey for the most Wednesdays played at Victoria Country Club. I was like, how many Wednesdays did you play? He said 54. I was like, okay, well, I suppose no one's beating you.
How is it possible to play 54 in a year?
52, sorry, 52.
Was Ken also on the wine? He was so hammered at the wine he thought he played it twice.
Yeah, we went out again.
No, and this guy he looked it up. He was only coming like 90th or something in the ranking of number of rounds played. So, and when I asked him, are you planning to play again this year? He had 5 rounds planned just for that week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, commitment. Cool, JDV. Okay, well, since you rattled off all your courses, this will take me a lot quicker. How many had you played in total?
So 17 here, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's not a fair reflection. I feel like I played more, but anyway, handicap record sheet says 17.
Okay. I've played. The number of rounds is always a bit hazy because there's some rounds you don't enter and that because of match play and all of that stuff. But I've played, I think it's 20 rounds. And it will be just when this podcast is released, I would have played 15 different courses. So let me just run you through those quickly. So we've got Gowrie, Escorts, East London, the Belmonts, Princess Grant, Zimablai Lakes, Mshlali, Zimbali Old, I said Zimablai Lakes, and then the Links Fan Court, Otsaniqua, Royal Cape, Wingate Park, and Simbiti. And Durban Country Club will be the final course on that list. And JDV, proud to say I've got 6 new courses that I've ticked off this year. So that would be Escorts, the Links, Otsaniqua, Royal Cape, and Wingate Park. So that's 5. Sorry, 5 new courses. And I visited Pilgrim's Rest and took a photo there. So I mean,
counted as a new course.
Yeah. So things were looking quite dire for me, to be honest. I think we had a podcast check-in a couple months ago, and I said to you guys I'd only played the 1 new course, but I made a massive comeback with my new golf courses. Actually ticked off that golf goal for the year because it was 5 new courses. So I managed to get those all in the space of about 12 days. It was quite a feat. But yeah, I would say I really struggled where last year, obviously filling out 18 holes, playing this game of our compilation courses, that, there were always a few holes where they were a bit scratchy, you were trying to think of a good 7th hole at one of the courses, and, we ended up with some, I would say, for me, some mediocre holes. I really battled this year because there was a lot of competition for good golf holes, particularly with the even numbered holes. So I'm not sure if you had a similar experience.
No, I felt like you got the best of the even holes were way better.
Yeah, I think so as well, to be honest. When I look back at the courses I played, there were only a couple of odd holes that I really wanted. I feel good about my list. And I've tried to obviously just clarify also the rules where we couldn't pick any of the same holes that we picked last year.
Well, let's run through those, T, quickly.
Yeah, so let's run through those. So I don't know if do you have your course from last year?
So T, yes, you threw me under the bus because you sent the holes, and I was like, oh, that was what we had agreed were the 18 holes that we had agreed were like our 18 holes. And then I listened to the podcast that we did, and I was like, oh shit, I picked many different holes that you hadn't picked. So yeah, I'm going to read off your 18 holes, which I sort of kept as off limits. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to pick ones that I picked last year. But
I think we only had like 3 holes in common.
I know, which is bad because that means that there's a big chance that I'll pick my holes again. But anyway, I don't think I will. Okay, so you went 1, Gowrie Farm, 2, Glendower, 3, Blair Athol, 4, Arabella, 5, Gowrie Farm, 6, the Lakes at Mount Edgecombe, 7th at Simbiti, 8th Royal Port Alfred, 9th Arabella. Any comments on those, T?
No. I mean, I'll run through the back 9. So then I went Glendower 10, Lost City 11, which is interesting. That must have been a what do you call it? Participation award for Lost City. 12th was DCC. I think that was a common one for us. 13 Clavelli, Umco 14, Glendower 15, Agari 16, DCC 17. I think that was another common one, and then Cotswold 18. So, yeah, it was it's a great course. I think it was a par 73 JDV. So, yeah, it was quite nice to look back on that. Would I change some of those? Probably would. But it's too late now. So look, let's launch into it. Unless you want to clarify anything around your strategy of how you pick these. Did you try and follow a certain strategy when it came to specific golf courses? You wanted to make sure we're represented.
No, I think that I felt myself being pulled towards par 3s and par 5s. It just shows. I don't know if you felt the same way, Terence, but like. I don't know, those holes stand out more in my head, and I'm not, just like, okay, well, random thoughts, I suppose. But no,
I've got
I don't.
Interestingly enough, I've got mostly par 4s.
Okay, well, that's good for our composite, Terence, because I've got lots of par 3s and par 5s.
Okay, so should I keep track here of the composites?
Please keep track.
Please keep track. Okay. Because we may lose you at some point.
Yes.
Okay, JDV, let's do it. What is our first hole?
Number 1, I'm going to share it if anyone is looking at this on YouTube.
For all those live people following us live.
Okay, so number 1 is Zimablai Lakes. And interestingly, I've never actually played this as my first hole. Can you see what's going on there?
No, can't see anything. I can see you, which is always a good thing. But if you're sharing something, it's...
So Zimablai Lakes, this is the first hole at Zimablai Lakes.
Okay.
So the way that we've played it so far is we've actually played it as the 10th, the 9th hole has been the first hole that we've played. But the hole 1 at Zimablai Lakes is actually, for me, I don't know, it's a beast of a hole. Probably one of the more difficult holes in the course. It's down the fence line towards the lakes per se of Zimbabwe. But if you pull it left, you you've lost your ball. If you push it a bit right, you've lost your ball. There's also a bunker on the right to catch it. But then once you get past a pretty difficult tee shot, I feel like it's not the most difficult shot in the world. After that, there's a big bailout area on the right of the green, but yeah, not a handshake hole by any stretch of the imagination. And I think it's going to be a pretty epic first hole once they've got the whole scene up and running. Zimablai Lakes first
I think
hole.
you might have to bomb your sharing of this because it's
sharing.
It's just hanging on my side.
Okay.
I think the start of that course is going to be really cool once they revert to kicking off on the actual first hole. We spoke about this when we did our Zimablai Lakes pod. I think those first 3 holes are like is a hell of a start.
Yes, it's big
full
swing.
tilt. Yeah. Yeah, it's a really cool start. I like that first hole. I think like a lot of Zimablai Lakes holes, there's a lot of friendly slopes potentially on that hole to keep your ball in play and to move it towards the middle of the fairway off the tee. But it's a beast, and I think into the wind that hole's going to be absolute monster. JDV, the second hole on our composite course is at the links at Fancourt. The second hole, people might remember, this was actually the famous hole where Ernie and Tiger had their playoff. It was one of the holes used for their playoff in that dramatic President's Cup where both Tiger and Ernie made, I think Tiger made about a 15-footer and Ernie made about a 10-footer in what was absolute like pitch black light. And that was eventually on that green where they decided to shake hands, and Jack and old the Black Knights shook hands and decided to share the cup. But I will say it really lives up to the hype. It's a big downhill par 3. You've got this the George sort of mountain vista in the background. And then interestingly enough, JDV, the one thing I didn't realize about that hole, and I haven't actually gone to look at whether or not this was in existence during the President's Cup, but it's one of the few holes in South Africa where there's actually a bunker in the middle of the green. So
there's one in Mauritius, I think.
There's an island bunker on this hole. It's not exactly in the middle. It's about a third of the way up. And I'm not sure whether they ever actually put a pin down in front of that bunker. But essentially, you've got green that goes all the way around this bunker, and it's quite an interesting. I haven't seen another hole like that in SA. Obviously, seen a couple on TV. There's the quite famous one at Riviera, where the PGA Tour play most years in LA. But it's a cool hole. Like I think we spoke about when we did our par 3 pod, like the right amount of hang time for a ball on a downhill hole. And it's got that right amount, and it's a really difficult green to hit. It's got a couple of different segments, fast greens, lots of slopes. That for me, that was the first hole I wrote down of my whole list. It was like an absolute no-brainer. I've only got 2 honorable mentions on my list, JDV, and I will throw out the other second hole that I did think of was Zimablai Lakes as well. I think we spoke about Zimablai. That I think you picked that hole on our Zimablai Lakes pod, and great little potentially drivable par 4 with sort of water all the way down the left, and some interesting strategy that you can decide what you want to do on that hole. Let's go to the third hole.
It's going to be a surprising one. I think, just to mention, the other thing we said is that we couldn't pick more than 2 holes from the same course. So
Correct.
when you say fan courts, I just want to point out that is one of your fan court holes gone. So you can't just
links
pick
from the links.
from the. All right, spoiler alert! You're going to be picking a couple of other fan court holes there.
Yeah.
Okay,
possibly.
well, to move away from fan courts, I'm going to go to Cathedral Peak for my third hole.
Love that.
And, I listened to the podcast, Terence. Both of us had Cathedral Peak last year as an honorable mention. So I thought, let me elevate it this year into the,
the team.
The major leagues.
Hold on. Welcome.
It's on its way to the team. It's a tricky tee shot. You pretty much got a blind tee shot, which if you hit it a bit far, if the wind's behind you, I don't know how often the wind's going to be behind you with those mountains, but there's a bit of water there. There's a dam just in front of the green, and if you push it right, it's pretty long grass, and if you lose it left, it's also very long grass. But the line is actually left of what you think it is. There's a bit of a tree that you can see off the tee box that you need to be teeing it over. And I think for the most part, like for any reasonable hitter, you can hit a driver there over that tree, and you'll be just short of the dam. Then the big thing is you've got a very interesting approach into the green with a massive rock on the left of it. Terence, I will never forget that you smoked that rock like dead on. What happened?
Yeah.
Where did your ball end up after that?
It actually was fine. It ended up like just off the green. So I got really lucky. It was just short of the green. So yeah, I got super lucky. But I mean, you can go anywhere off that rock. I mean,
so yeah, I mean, and the funny thing is, I think that rock is like the same size as like an ordinary bunker would be. It's like the opposite of a bunker. Like whereas a bunker would catch your ball, I think this rock like repels your ball. So very different.
Would we call that a rock, or would we call that a boulder? When does it change?
I think it's a boulder. Well, I don't know. It's a boulder? Is boulder's bigger than a rock? Eh?
I mean,
it's a boulder. Right? I mean, yeah. I mean, if you can move a rock, you can't move a boulder. It's a boulder.
I just feel like calling it a rock doesn't do it justice.
Doesn't give it justice. Okay, fair enough.
I think from now on that's the boulder. Yeah.
But also like just Cathedral Peak in general, I think it's the views more than anything. Like give it the push it over the edge in terms of how good a course it is. Conditioning perhaps depending on when you play it is somewhat to be desired, but the third hole is a good hole for all intents and purposes.
It's the best hole there without a doubt.
Do you think so from like an architecture point of view? Because I know so last year we had the fourth hole actually. I mentioned the fourth hole in our last year's pod, but I think the third hole is probably a better hole.
Yeah, I think last year the only reason I didn't have it as my third hole is that I had Blair Athol. I played Blair Athol last year, and that third hole Blair Athol is just like a all timer. So, but yeah, I think it is the best hole, JDV. It's got that blind tee shot, so you've got that unknown around club and line, and then depending on where you land on the fairway, you can end up with quite a difficult lie on that fairway if you don't hit it far enough down. So if you lay back a bit with your club, if you try to be too conservative, you end up with a ball like awkward, like downhill lie, and then you got to cover the water and deal with the boulder and that. So yeah, I think it's a great hole.
I see you've referred to it as a boulder, so that's cool. It's a boulder, not a rock.
I'm stoked that you've got that one there. Cool. Fourth hole.
End of the pod. That's it. We're done.
That's it. JDV. You're over.
Been lekker.
You're out. I'm just trying to look after your bottle of wine there. Make sure you got some left. Fourth hole. To be honest with you, it was probably one of two where I jumped around a little bit. There weren't any there wasn't one that I'd put down straight away, but I have gone JDV with the fourth at Gowrie, and the fourth at Gowrie JDV is the one, or you could almost refer to it as, I don't know what the official name on the guide is, on the course guide, but I call it Bunker Alley, because it's basically got around like 25 different bunkers on that hole. Essentially, it's got those bunkers almost from the tee box all the way down the left-hand side, which most of them aren't in play, but it's just visual intimidation. It almost looks like there's nowhere to hit your ball. And
But they've redesigned this, T?
JDV, they've made the green a bit bigger. There isn't a sweeping redesign to the whole hole. They've made the green a little bit more receptive because it was just really, really small, particularly on the right hand side. It was almost impossible to stay on the green unless you bounced, like landed short and got a good bounce up. But the essence of the hole hasn't changed. And essentially, this is a drivable par 4. You can go for the green. You can hit a 3-wood or a 4-iron, and you can lay up into a certain pocket. And then there's there's 3 routes you can take. You can take the very conservative route, which is like a 5 or 6-iron to the fat part of the fairway, and then you're left with a blind shot into the green. So it's just a really cool hole, strategic. I think it's the sort of hole you've got to play quite a few times to learn where you want to hit. I think the position of the pin can have an impact on what you do from the tee, and the wind, obviously. So yeah, I think it's a great par 4. I think it's been softened and made a little bit more playable, but I think it's a really, really good strategic hole. So happy to have it on the list. And just to be clear, that is the only hole that I'm picking from Gowrie this year. So I'm taking it easy this year.
I was going to say, slurping Gowrie last year when I listened to that podcast. My goodness, I think Gowrie
there was a lot, and maybe a bit too much.
I think also a bit of recency bias because I think we had played Gowrie the week before we did the podcast.
Yeah,
so, anyway.
Possibly. Maybe it also talks to the fact that I think this year maybe I've played more better courses. I think I have more variety of courses. Yeah. Okay, 5th hole. What have we got?
T, I'm going to make it a quick one. And yeah, I mean, it's whenever I'm looking for a hole, this was one that I was like, shit, I can't find a 5th hole. So what do? You revert to the best course you've played in the year and head and shoulders above the rest. The 5th hole at Durban Country Club. And I think Durban Country Club, I just need to say, generally, without a doubt, is the best course in KZN. I'm going to say it's hyperbole, here it is. It's unbelievable. We played it the other day, Terence. It is without a doubt, and it actually made me a little bit sad when I realized just how much better Durban Country Club is than the rest of the courses in KZN. And when I say sad, it's just it's just so much better than, and when I say so much better, from an architecture, perspective and conditioning is now settled in there. It is such a good course. It is flipping amazing. Sorry, I don't know if I'm glazing it a bit too much, but anyway, the 5th hole is a stroke 1, par 4, being described as one of the, or if not the most difficult hole on the DP World Tour. Flipping long hole. I mean, you can hit a driver, hybrid, and still not get to the.
Keep going, JDV. You're telling us how you can hit a driver on the stroke 1.
Yeah, so anyway, hit a driver on the stroke 1, and then as I said that, yeah, basically because you shouldn't be hitting a driver on the stroke 1 because you're going to hit it onto the M4 and knock a car out. So that's why I got disconnected. It says KZN Department of Transport. But no, 5th hole at Durban Country Club. For me, yeah, it's an easy one to go to if you don't know which hole to pick. You just go to Durban Country Club. It's by far the best course in KZN at the moment. And I say that as a very proud Cotswold member.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to hit those fairways. Yeah, looking forward to it. I do have to just mention the other day, JDV, I was I listened to a clip on another podcast in South Africa which talks about golf, and the gentleman on there, one of the gentlemen on there, was questioning Durban Country Club whether it belonged in the top 10 in South Africa, and I took great
Umbrage.
offense to those comments. Yeah, and there was another course which I'm going to bring up a bit later as well, but in the top 10. But yeah, I mean, just like, please, a little bit of decorum for one of the best golf properties in South Africa, please.
I mean,
JDV,
honestly, DCC is sitting at 8 at the moment. Like after I played it the other day, like that actually, I thought it was quite generous that it was at 8 when it got to be at 8 to start. And I know these rankings are very subjective and the rest of it, but yeah, I mean, I think having played it again recently and the condition I played it in, I think it's almost offensive that it's not top 5. It's that good at the moment.
So let's just pause on this for a little bit. So we're definitely doing a rankings like podcast next year, JDV. We've got some notes down already on this. Where we really need to look at how these rankings are done. I heard an interesting note the other day from the guys in Australia where they talk about the way they do their ranking system, and essentially they don't apply all these like weird ass categories and score in each of these different categories. They basically just do like an eye test. It's like basically like which one do you think's better, and then they move courses up and down their list. And so in that vein, I've got I want to ask you here, okay, and obviously if you haven't played the course, then you can abstain, but okay, I know you haven't played the links, but let's go Blair Athol. Durban Country Club ahead of Blair Athol. Blair Athol's number 2 currently.
Blair Athol's amazing. I mean, it's super long. And again, is it to my taste because I'm like a short hitter? Probably not. I just think Durban.
Just a yes or no. Just
okay, fine. I'll take Durban Country Club over Blair Athol.
Okay, Leopard Creek.
Leopard Creek.
Pearl Valley.
Pearl Valley.
You take Pearl Valley over DCC, really?
Yeah, Pearl Valley is amazing.
That's interesting. St. Francis Links.
Durban Country Club.
Glendower.
I love Glendower. Durban Country Club.
Okay, Arabella.
Durban Country Club.
And Pinnacle Points.
Durban Country Club.
Okay, so in your
Glendower could come ahead of Durban Country Club if I were to give it more thought.
Okay, so I mean, then if I take your ranking, it's probably sitting at 1, 2, 3,
like 4 or 5.
It's probably sitting at like number 6 in your ranking, 5 or 6, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Interesting. JDV, moving along. Our 6th hole. This was a course that I think I had on last year. I actually can't remember. I need to have a look at it. But this is a KZN course, beautiful coastal course. This hole is not actually one of the coastal holes, and it's not maybe a hole that you would necessarily think of when thinking about Princess Grant. But this is obviously the 6th hole at Princess Grant, and the 6th hole is the par 5 where you tee off from. It's the first par 5 that you play on the front 9, and you tee off from sort of like an elevated tee, and your approach is over that massive dam. So the green sits on the other side of the dam, and I really like this hole. I like the framing of the hole from the tee box. It's always I just like the look of it. And then there's a real decision making that happens. It's not a very long par 5 by any means.
It's an easy one to hit into.
So it is easy to hit into, but they really ask you to hit an exacting shot because there's no room for error. It's there's basically no space in front of that green. There's some space on the left hand side. There's a little bit of fairway over the water on the left hand side, but even though it's an easy par 5 in terms of its length, I see a lot of guys with their ball in the pocket there on that hole. So yeah, I like this hole. I think it's a slightly underrated one. And I also struggled to think of any other good sixth holes that I played this year.
I was going to say, well, I was like, this is.
If I'm honest, it was the last hole to be filled out. Yeah, I was trying to be representative of different courses as well. So it's a little bit of a PC award, this one. I think it's my weakest. It's my weakest one of all my holes, I think.
This is what we're also trying to do is pick holes from a lot of courses that we've actually played.
Yeah, and I thought about like some Zimablai Lakes, like the sixth holes. It's actually one of my least favorite holes there. The like DCC, the sixth holes, like not one of my. It's like okay. I went through all the courses. The one, probably honourable mention there would be maybe the East London sixth hole. But we'll get to East London just now. But
I was going to say, I feel like you're saving up East London because there must be a lot of golf holes there for you to unleash on.
Yeah, I mean, in retrospect, I wish I could go back in time and put East London down on the sixth instead of Princess Grant. What's the seventh hole, JDV?
I'm going with Rossmond Golf Club in Namibia. Can you believe it?
The well-known Rossmond.
Yes, I played it one man with higher clubs and shot a solid 90. I'm going to put a video out eventually. But the seventh hole is awesome. It's a little par 3. It's about 150 meters. But like when I say that there's a couple of ridges that go through that Swakopmund area and where I was staying at Vlugstembaken, like the ridges go through all the way from the desert into the ocean. And in this par 3, you play like from a tee box over one of the ridges onto the green. And it's also one of the like hole-in-one. You can win 5,000 Namibian dollars if you want to, but only on competition days, which I wasn't playing. And I also didn't make a hole-in-one, so it doesn't make any difference.
And you're on your own, so it's always a bit questionable as well.
Yeah, thank goodness I didn't make a hole-in-one. But
is it a blind shot? Like, is the green blind or?
It sort of is, T. Like it's. I mean, you can see the back of the green. The front of the green is covered by that ridge, but a very striking. Cool. It's a very striking sort of visual standing there because it is like desert, like stone ridge, and then like very green. So they I mean, obviously they irrigate it quite heavily and have attracted all the animals from the desert as a result.
Oh, they do irrigate that course, do they?
Amazingly, a lot of irrigation, like so much irrigation that they didn't turn off any of the sprinklers when I was teeing off. So some of the time I was like, well, so many sprinklers going on. I just like teed off like next to the tee box because I was like, there was no one around to turn the sprinklers off. So anyway.
Well, half the water just evaporates before it actually hits the ground anyway.
Well, and it was raining when I played, but I mean, that's a story for another day. Raining in the desert.
Awesome. Well, that's our first international entry, I think, for this 18-hole compilation, JDV. So thank you for that. Thank you for making that trip for us.
You know, when I put my round in the SA Golf app, it comes up as a normal South African golf course. So it's not even like I got to do the benefit of like tag it because you can go to like the international golf course part of the SA Handicaps app. I didn't get to do that, unfortunately.
Wonder if what the Namibian Golf Association think about that.
They're probably quite stoked.
I was legit like a bit upset, to be honest with you, when you started sending through pictures and it was like super green and that. Like I was really hoping you were going to be playing like a proper like sand goat track. Like
Yeah.
I mean, it looked interesting, but I was really hoping for you to traipse around in the sand for like 4 hours. How was the pace of play out there, by the way?
Amazing. It was
Very good.
I was first off at like 8:00.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing more about that Rosman experience. JDV, we're moving swiftly along here to the 8th hole, which is a par 5, and this is the 8th hole at Durban Country Club. I really love I really love the diversity of this hole because you sort of start off on a very like flat part of the golf course. So where you tee off from, and most of the initial fairway is like super flat, and it's a key fairway to hit. So often guys will take less than driver; they'll take like a 3-wood or something a bit shorter. You obviously got the bush on the left. They've opened up the bush a little bit on the right. There's a couple of fairway bunkers. But it's really the second shot and potentially the third shot, depending on how you're playing the hole, that I find the most interesting, because you then are where the green site is located and the last sort of 120 meters of the fairway is just in this like dramatic rolling dunes. And I love the challenge that shot brings, where you're having to hit over that initial ridge, and essentially it's like similar. It's like kind of semi-blind, depending on where you are on the fairway. If you're on the left-hand side, you can maybe see a little bit of the green, but it's just a really fun par 5, it's for me it was an easy one. I didn't have that many holes from DCC last year, this was a no-brainer. All right,
Nice. Well,
should we wrap up the front 9 here?
Swiftly along, the 9th for me, I'm going to go with the 9th at Centurion Country Club. 8th and the 9th are both very provocative. In fact, I thought that the 8th and the 9th were better than 17 and 18. And this is probably one that they've like swapped around over time. 17 and 18, like 17 is like a reasonably benign par 3, with 18 like and I hope I've got it right, because like it should be swapped, because 18 is like down the dam on the left, but like 8 and 9 is a par 3 onto an island green, where you like literally have to like walk across a bridge onto the par 3, and then 9 you've got this amazing like go left. There's like a path left. It's like literally pick 2 paths. One path left, and you go onto like a fairway, very easy shot, probably like a 6-iron, or like there's a path straight to the green, where you can take like a hybrid 5 or like a 7-wood, or I mean I took a driver, but it was probably too much club. I mean, you can easily take a hybrid and onto that green straight ahead, but you basically got to like take on all the water, and you can't go left or right. And
listen, can I just pause you there? I'm a little bit confused. There's a lot of information you just gave there. What is the par of this hole?
It's a par 4.
Okay, thank you. Because
so
you were talking about a few other holes there, and and the par 3 before that.
I was rambling.
Okay, so it's a shortish par 4.
A very short par 4. So it's a par 4 that almost plays like a long par 3 if you want to take the risk on, or you can bail out left, and then it's an easy shot right.
And the risk is water.
Risk is water. There's a bunker running the whole way down the right, but yeah. So I mean, like I said, I think it would make a better 17 and 18, because the par 3 before that, the 8th, is also like an epic par 3 island green. And then the 9th is that's that risk and reward. Like you can bail out left, pretty easy shot, or like go for it. So anyway, 9th at Centurion.
I thought the biggest risk at Centurion was playing there during summer, like in the rains.
What, getting struck by lightning?
Okay, never mind. That joke didn't land. No, because it like basically gets flooded like almost nonstop.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah. Anyway, let's. Maybe we write to them and ask them if they'd consider swapping the 9s around.
I think they should, to be honest.
Okay. From the Go Track podcast, where one of us has played the course once, we think you should. we strongly advise you to swap your 9s around.
So it's a 250 meter par 4. That's like probably
awesome.
Short par 4.
That's like
on the half
DCC. Yeah.
On the half fault.